There's always a battle between AA and AAA types of FPV simulators. What's better, good graphics or drone management and simulator physics? With this being said, have you heard about EreaDrone 2023? I hope I'm pronouncing it right, EreaDrone. I will try to cover everything there is to know about this simulator, the pros and cons, how well it is compared to other ones, and if it's worth acquiring it. As a disclaimer, this is a non-sponsored and non-affiliate review. I was offered the simulator for free to test it, but it won't influence my review. I often stay in touch with the mastermind behind this simulator who is open to feedback and improving it. So, for better understanding, I will split this review into multiple categories, and we're gonna start with controller options. Controllers. There is no doubt that if you're looking to get the best out of an FPV simulator, this has to be compatible with different FPV remote controllers. I have the free Skyhorus X10S Express and the DJI FPV Remote Controller 2 here with me for testing. Keep in mind that before joining any match or training on a map, you will have to go through a one-time setup and calibration process for the radio transmitter. That's a process you will have to do with any FPV simulators and not only EreaDrones. I can literally just say EreaDrone 2023 is fully compatible with FPV controllers, including the ones I have tested. I'm pretty confident that if you have a radio transmitter that works with other FPV simulators, it should definitely work with EreaDrone. Graphics. The graphics behind EreaDrone 2023 are more than decent. In fact, I can say that if you're aiming for maximum graphics settings, EreaDrone will have its top place altogether with Trip and Uncrashed FPV. But there is a reminder that with great graphics, your computer requires heavy resources to run it smoothly. Therefore, if you don't have a good gaming computer with at least 8GB video RAM, you will fall behind in performance unless you drop down details and resolution. What I also like about the graphics is that you have a cinematic option and the ability to change the time of the day before you start the map, including the weather conditions. With cinematic mode, you have a high amount of depth of field, the same as when filming with a DSLR camera, where the subject is in focus and everything else is blurred. This can result in a unique experience flying a drone that frankly I have not seen in any other simulators before. No, I don't think I have seen it, to be honest. But not everyone will like the cinematic mode. Therefore, even if going to high or very high details, remember that EreaDrone does require a lot of resources to run smoothly. A couple of recent updates have improved the game performance, so expect more in the future to optimize resource allocation better. Okay, now what about drones? This simulator does not currently have a lot of drones in the back pocket. You do have a standard drone, a tiny quad and 3 more FPV drones of different sizes. That's not a lot to go with, but neither do we need a dozen drones to have fun or practice in the simulator. But here's what I love about these drones. They're highly customizable. You can even set the PID mode, which more realistically mimes an FPV drone flying in the real world. You can also change the mass of the drone voltage, kV, size and pitch, and the customizability continues with a ton of more options that my brain fails to comprehend. That's the area for FPV experts, which I'm clearly not, but we're glad it's there. Also, you're able to change the rates once you're in the game flying the drone, but the rate profile is only stuck to beta flight. Now for maps. As for maps, EreaDrone 2023 currently has 16 maps, which is extremely good and diversified. But one major advantage is the ability to create your own map. And this type of map you create is nothing like Liftoff has in a kind of pixelated environment. You literally can create a real map with structures, vehicle, infinite options and the ability to modify objects on all 3 axes, X, Y and Z, something like that. Don't get me wrong, some other simulators have decent map builders, but the one I found in EreaDrone 2023 is the best I've seen from any FPV simulator out there. Even when you're building your own map, you can fly a drone there just pressing fly and you can fly a drone around and see how it looks or how it feels, which is very realistic. So if you are kind of a creative person, you can do great things in this simulator. You can really create good maps and big giant maps and so on. Anyway, let's continue. So let's talk a little bit about the simulator physics and drone dynamics. Okay, now this is a controversial topic. Controversial. I think I said it right. Did I? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's a controversial topic. Anyway, many pilots will have different opinions. I create a lot of content around FPV simulators and have spent hundreds of hours practicing and testing such simulators to provide more accurate results. In the first place, the simulator physics is high above average. In fact, they're pretty realistic, if not aiming towards the top, from gravity field to drag, throttle management and even overall drone control. I have seen many worse FPV simulators in terms of physics and drone dynamics, but very few are better, and those certainly are challenged by EreaDrone. I still hope I'm saying it right, EreaDrone, though. Okay, and do not forget that you can highly customize a quad, so you can influence the drone's weight, drag, and so many more options we mentioned earlier. So, with all this being said, you can make a drone fly as realistically as you can in this simulator, even if sometimes you feel with a specific drone that the simulator's physics is just slightly off. You can adjust with the drone weight, motor power and so on. So let's carry on now and let's have a look at the game modes. I love freestyle and free flight, that's just me. I'm not a very big fan of FPV racing. I'm quite good actually at crashing a lot, but I would love some challenges though. EreaDrone 2023 has 3 game modes: racing, freestyle and challenge. With racing, you have about 32 maps or tracks to say, created for specific type of quads, as you can see, 5-inch or tiny quads and so on. And what I love about it is that you have a guiding arrow to help you with the racing. And believe me, for a person like me with no sense of direction, that's mostly helpful. Maybe that's why I don't like racing. I'm always thinking, where do I have to go next? Which gate? Where am I when I'm flying a drone? Wherever I'm doing it in an FPV simulator or in real life. I'm always losing my sense of direction and I forget where I am actually. Now carry on. But such good visual aids are more than helpful in practicing FPV racing. And as for freestyle, that's what I kind of love, because there are no rules in freestyle, in flying FPV like freestyle. You fly it, you crash it, etc, etc. As we mentioned, there are 16 different maps you can freely freestyle, from indoors to outdoors, stadium, city or temple. I mean, as you can clearly see it here, those are the maps basically. And I said again, etc, right? Anyway, so there's not much to say about this mode. But as for challenges, currently there are only 3 maps. They are very difficult though. They are a combination of freestyle and racing with timing. I'm not trying to get on any leaderboards, but simply I'm trying, and I try, believe me, for so long to finish this map. So if you're really up for a challenge, this is the way. Anyway, once you crash or hit anything, it's game over. You have to start it again. So if you're up for a challenge, this is the game mode to make you spend endless hours of practice and tries until you get it, or until you get the best results out of it, or simply to finish the challenge. Anyway, now we have come to a section I want to talk about bugs. Yeah, basically during all the time I have practiced in EreaDrone 2023, I can't say I didn't come across a few bugs that made me think, okay, what's that? Yeah. The first bug I have noticed is when you fly your drone in a foresty area and you want to go through a forest, just basically don't go through it. There are many invisible objects or obstacles, I don't know, where your drone stumble across, crashing mid-air. And this happens to be quite a few such spots. But I'm pretty confident there will be fixes and improvements, so by the time you see this video, they could be already fixed. On the other hand, if you go with a micro drone, even the smallest one, and you fully push throttle, I feel like you're flying like 3, 4, 5-inch quad. Basically the drone is incredibly fast, especially if flying indoors, around the supermarket for example. It's quite difficult to control and it feels a little bit inaccurate for their size. Sure thing, maybe my experience with micro quads is a bit crappy, but still feels a little bit unnatural. I'm sure this could be fixed in no time. Even maybe you can adjust a few things and switch a few things in the drone settings. As we mentioned earlier, they're very customizable. I didn't try to go deep through it, but definitely you can improve even yourself this experience if you're into flying micro drones. Anyway, and one last tiny bug I want to report is related to the graphics of this simulator. There are quite too many inaccurate artifacts when flying or when just having the simulator at medium, high settings or even a bit lower settings. I think it goes even if you set the higher settings for the simulator or in cinematic mode. From what I've seen, it has a lot to do with the sun rays coming through the grass or tree leaves or branches, things like that. And even if you set the anti-aliasing to maximum, which could be very daunting for the resource requirements, it still looks a little bit off, and that could use a bit of improvement. Anyway, that's just a small issue on the graphics side, and it has nothing to do with how a drone flies in the simulator, how well it does fly, and the simulator physics or things like that, which on my opinion are the most important to be focused on. So yeah, as I said, even with these bugs, they are not major ones, and I am more than confident that the developers behind the EreaDrone will fix those in no time. Alright, so let's conclude this. Well, considering that EreaDrone 2023 was released basically in, guess when, 2023, and is still a very new FPV simulator, it has a fantastic potential. The devs behind this simulator are very open to feedback and are trying their best to push the simulator towards the top. Since I got it like 2 months ago, I was supposed to release this video basically a month ago, and I got it like 2 months ago, and I practiced a little bit in it. First time I had a laptop which wasn't doing very well because it was an old laptop. I got a gaming computer, and in these 2 months time I have seen several patches, updates, basically some good improvements, I can say. Some not minor but major improvements to this simulator. Okay, so yeah, even at this time it's a very excellent simulator to consider, even if you are a very beginner trying to get into FPV to practice in EreaDrone 2023 for the first time. I definitely recommend it. I mean, there's no reason why not. It's easy to use it. It's like very straightforward even to calibrate and everything, and it's actually a very good simulator. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. So please check the first pinned comment if you're looking for basically any kind of more information. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you around.